Get much deeper. As we approach Mammoth Cave, that dark spot you're going to see towards the front of the boat, it gets over 60 feet deep. Now Mammoth Cave, where all the water comes out of, it's about 5 to 12 feet tall, depending on where you measure it from. And it's over 100 feet long. That's more than 3 of these boats put in length. Another movie that was filmed right here, some of y'all might remember, James Bond Thunderball, starring Sean Connery, the greatest James Bond ever. And back in the late 90s, early 2000s, ABC had a TV show on their channel called The Wide World of Sports. They built a 159-foot tall high dive tower right here. And a man with the last name Colombo was crazy enough to jump off the top of that thing, setting a high dive record right here back in the late 90s. This is my favorite spring in the whole park. It is so awesome. Now, would y'all like to see one more thing? All right. Back in 1967, there was a TV show filmed here. Some of you might remember, called I Spy, starring Robert Culp and Bill Cosby. They did some underwater filming here for one episode in particular called The Seventh Captain. For that episode, they used some pretty neat movie props that we're going to get to see in just a moment. We're going to be looking down there for Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. They're about 7 to 8 feet tall. They're in about 30 feet of water. They're anchored to the ground in concrete, and they're made out of a space-age material called fiberglass.
Oh, está. ¿Ustedes han visto a esa persona esclavita? En Grecia? Esos son dioses.
There was originally 12 statues. Whenever TV production ended, they began removing them. The locals got pretty upset because they got accustomed to looking at them. So after some negotiations, they brought us back 5. The 3 you see down there and the 2 inside of our Discovery Center. Now the statues are cleaned once a month by our certified dive team, along with all the other springs here in the park, and the bottom of the glass bottom boats once a month. Now does everybody get to see the statues? Now the only bad thing about the statues is that's pretty much the last thing I've got to show y'all today. So does anybody have any questions for me?
We haven't seen the alligator.
The alligators?
Yeah.
Whenever it gets cold in Florida, they actually have burrows that are underneath the banks, and they'll crawl up in them to get away from the cold.
River otters get here.